stripping it of all its leaves, taking all the nutrients away from it, and that will kill it off. Welcome to A Simple Life. The boys and I are moving our goat herd to an area that has a bunch of invasive ivy. The area we're gonna be putting these guys in is super hilly and rugged. It is literally like a 45-degree hillside. It is nasty, but it's got all kinds of good vegetation for them. You boys ready to start pushing them down?
Yeah.
The goats hate getting pushed down the hill. They love being pushed this way, but they hate getting pushed that way. So the boys have quite a chore in front of them. All right, you guys got them down here, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was it hard? No. This is the old pig pasture. I don't mind them having access to it, but I don't want them being stuck in here. It's just got too much bramble. I'd rather have them be able to come in and out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a fence down the side of the road, all the way down, and their water is gonna be over here, and then they'll have access to that and access to all of this. Why am I locking them onto the side of this hill? I have ivy growing up the sides of my trees. And as it grows up, it just chokes them out. I'm losing trees to an invasive species. I want the invasive species gone. So goats are a great way to absolutely devastate the invasive species. And here's why I'm doing it right now. We are in March. March is a perfect opportunity to do this. By eating everything here, it's gonna take all the leaves off of the ivy. The ivy will be able to regenerate leaves for the spring, but if I run them through it again, then in the summer, there's nothing there. And this ivy will die off. It's not gonna die off in one season. It's not gonna die off in 2 seasons. It's probably gonna take about a year or 2 of doing this every season, just eating it down, stripping it of all its leaves, taking all the nutrients away from it, and that will kill it off. Once it's killed off, a lot of the ferns and the other stuff that belong here will grow back. This is how I'm doing it. Why am I doing it this way? Well, I really care about the land management, and I really care about the ground that I work to make sure that it's healthy as possible. If I don't get the ivy in this area and down over there under control, I will have this across all 80 acres. And that is a really big problem because it means it's going to choke out a lot of my timber in the future. For example, eventually this will get logged. When this gets logged and I have this ivy all over the ground, I won't have any trees growing. The ivy will kill off the young trees. Well, you can just spray. Sure, I can spray Roundup. I'm not gonna do it. It's just not happening. This is my way of controlling it. It's better for the environment. I'm not introducing chemicals into my water source. You have to understand, all the water, we're on the very top of this hill. It's very strategic. The only thing I'm gonna be drinking out of my water is what I put into the ground. That's what's gonna filter in. So if I'm not putting Roundup and chemicals into the ground, it's not gonna be in my water. Sure, technically my neighbors could contaminate mine, but I'm on the top of the hill and I have about 200 feet or maybe 300 feet of elevation above everybody around me. So there is nobody that's gonna be really contaminating my water source. So we're gonna get goats in here. They're gonna have a pretty good area. It's really hard to see depth, but there's those trees down there. That little tree that's going this way right there, that's 2.5 feet across, okay? That's a big tree. They have all the way down to that tree, all the way along over to here and up that side. Clint's gonna set up the Energizer in the 5-gallon bucket. And this is our fence that goes all the way down the road to the old off-grid cabin. And this old off-grid cabin is right down here. So we don't go right next to it, but within 15, 20 feet of it. So here we go, we turn here. There's the old off-grid cabin, and then we go through the woods over here. There's the fence line there, it goes down, and you can see that ravine, that's probably about 100 feet below me, right down there. Maybe a little bit more. This fence line goes down into the bottom of the valley and back up and around. But man, it is beautiful in here. But this is what I want to do. I want to get a lot of this ivy and stuff, as it's starting to encroach farther in. I want to get it thinned out and killed off now without having to use chemicals before we do any logging, anything like that. And hopefully the goats will do that for me, and we'll see how they do. I'm gonna give them about 5 days in here probably. I'm really gonna let them just destroy this. I want them to eat it all down to the ground. I want nothing left in here other than the random stuff they won't eat, like holly and stuff like that. But I've never had any of my goats really eat holly. I've had them take a bite and then they walk away. They don't want any more of it. goat up there climbing up that tree. I know it looks like the goats are right behind me. They're 20 feet behind me and 20 feet lower. But this is where we're gonna have them. And you can see they're just devouring this ivy. I mean, you get them in here and they just go nuts for it. They're climbing the trees. I mean, that one's climbing that tree down there. So stinking cute. So they have about an acre, acre and a half here. And a good portion of it has this ivy in it. So I'm gonna let them go for probably 4 or 5 days in here. Probably 4 or 5 days. That's what it's gonna look like. What I'm gonna do is, as soon as it starts getting low, some of these trees, like I talked about, like this tree up here, I'm gonna drop them. And I'm gonna let the goats strip all the ivy off of them. They have a lot of seeds and stuff on there. It'll be perfect. The goats will strip everything, they'll eat it all. And that'll be probably 2 or 3 more days of them being able to eat that. And then we'll shift them somewhere else. But I'm hoping that'll give us about a week, about 7 days of them being in here. There's not a lot of shelter in here, but there is an area down here that has it's like a little lean-to. Herman used it as like a root cellar for a while. I'm gonna go open the door on that. They'll be able to use that if they want to pile in. We're gonna be in the 40s and 50s for the next week, so they'll be good in here without a shelter. They're not gonna really need it. Look at that little baby, that baby. Right there, that's that little single I was so impressed with. The mom was just doing such a great job. The tank, I think I called her the tank. That's her, and she's up there just nibbling away, they're all gonna do their thing. All right, well, the boys got the Kubota put away. They got some wood for Herman, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep, they got a little stack of wood for Herman. Got Merle here. Somehow Merle always stays clean no matter how dirty it is and muddy it is. Oh, there's Reba. Are you muddy, Reba? You are dirty, girl. Look at you. How you get so dirty, Reba?
I play in the mud.
I don't know how she does it. She's the only dog I know that gets so stinking dirty. I mean, look at Merle. Merle doesn't have an ounce of dirt on him. I mean, the guy was just laying in the mud and he's got like one little smidge. What has he got? Oh yeah, he was just laying in the mud and that's all he's got. Reba, you're covered in it. How do you get so dirty, Reba? How? She's getting huge. Look how big she is. She's gotten so stinking big. She's really gotten big. She's still not grown into her ankles. Her ankles still look like dinosaur bones down there.
Yeah.
We are done for the night. We got a bunch done. Today looked like it was gonna be a bust because it was raining so much today, but it turned out not to be a bust. We're gonna sign off for the night. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night. Bye.